Here's how I would learn web data analytics in 2024 if I'm starting from scratch. This is a new year. Things are changing now. There's things like artificial intelligence. Geez, everything's changing, and even the things you knew that were happening last year are changing. So how would you learn this from scratch so that you could potentially get a job, you can make money in this field, and you can hit the ground running? Hi, my name is Will, and I've been a digital marketing data analyst, also known as an analytics engineer or digital analyst. It has different terms, but I've been doing this for 3 years so far, and before that, I was working for 5 years in the digital marketing field as a pay-per-click manager, SEO, strategist, all the typical things that a marketing agency did. Now I do stuff related to analytics, numbers, data analytics, interpreting that, retrieving that, visualizing that, capturing that data. And so I'm going to help you hit the ground running, because I believe if I had heard my own blueprint 3 years ago, I probably could have gotten to where I was much faster. It wouldn't have taken as much time. Instead of the 8 years, I probably could have done this by, probably, I would have shaved off maybe 3 years of time just by knowing some of the things I'm going to teach you. So let me help you hit the ground running and really become very savvy and knowledgeable in web data analytics. Now, my focus specifically is digital and internet marketing. So it may be different if you're talking and asking someone else about this. I just wanted to throw that caveat out because some people are more interested in data analytics as they relate to something offline like robotics or something else. So let's just keep that in mind. I'm talking about web and internet data analytics, which is what I do for a living, helping online businesses. So first and foremost, how do you actually get started? What's the difference? Let me give you 3 big things, and then I may throw in 2 bonus things for a total of 5 things. But there's 3 essential things. And let's just get artificial intelligence out of the way as the first thing. So the first tip I'm going to have for you is to get some base level of understanding of artificial intelligence, how it works, how you can use it, how you can better be a prompt engineer and write better prompts, how it works, the pros, the cons, the limitations with it, and it keeps a pulse on where the industry is going. Frankly put, a lot of people are thinking that this is the next big gold rush. They think it's going to be the next revolution, and it is already making massive waves on the internet. A lot of big search engines like Google and Bing have already started rolling out artificial intelligence, generative experiences into their search results as part of their search. And so a lot of different fields, not just Google and Bing, but a lot of different websites and industries are going to be drastically affected by AI. And therefore, getting a handle on this helps you seem savvy and helps you put yourself in a position that you can potentially make a lot of money from it, but also just be perceived as someone who is an expert in this field. Plus, you're going to hear about it. It's going to impact the work you do. So might as well know what you're doing rather than be confused or misunderstood or confusing or just behind the ball here. So there's plenty of free resources and free AI email newsletters and stuff like that. I have my own newsletter. I don't necessarily talk as much about AI, but more about getting a job as a digital marketing analyst. So you can feel free to join that for free below for exclusive tips. But certainly go on the web. There's tons of Reddits and stuff like that dedicated to helping you learn more about artificial intelligence. And I would have a focus on using it for digital e-commerce, digital marketing, digital ads, maybe even B2B, business to business advertising, and just general selling online. That would be the focus of what I would do. So that's the first thing I would do this year to improve. What else can we do to level up? I think another big thing that you can do to level up even further, and this is number 2, and just hit the ground running with web analytics, is really just jump into an agency role. Trust me, I've done it both ways where I self-taught myself, and there's tons of free resources online, YouTube videos, articles, podcasts, but you stay in theory land. So I really think your best bet, if you just want to shave a lot of time off, is to work for free or intern. Sometimes they'll pay their interns, not a lot, but better than free, or get an entry-level job at an agency. Whatever you have to do. It's not really about the money, but you will cut the learning curve so much because you get to work with multiple real clients in real-world solutions using a lot of the tools that I use for my job. Everything from Google Analytics 4 to Google Ads to Facebook Ads to Google Tag Manager to Google Looker Studio to maybe sometimes even another visualization tool that's commonly used like Tableau or Power BI. A lot of these things, not only will they train you on how to use them because they need to satisfy all these clients, but they'll also give you real world experience with real clients and scenarios in ways that a lot of the theory just has a harder time teaching. For example, I remember trying to learn Google Analytics 4 and a bunch of those other tools mentioned on my own, and it was just a huge mess. I was like trying, and I know the concepts, but then when I was actually working for an agency, not only do I know the concepts, but I'm applying them. The client's asking, okay, why did the traffic go up, but then the conversions drop? And then you have to look into the data, and then you have to find specific reports in that data to answer a real problem with a real deadline. The client wants to know this by the end of the week. And so when you have all those things, then you learn about different facets and areas of a report and tool that you would have missed just theorizing about it and just doing things on your own. You have these giant knowledge gaps that I really don't think will be filled unless you jump into actual real work. So that's the second big thing that I think is just going to be universal. It's going to be common to always have that need for real world experience. Okay, the third thing, and I think this is the last essential thing to really hit the ground running this year in this new world of digital marketing, is really understand some basic level of programming and using a web analytics tool. So I would say the most common language out there that you can start with is SQL. So I was going to say Python as well, but I would say just SQL is all you really need to really get going. There's some great tutorials online. Some cost a little bit of money, but they won't break the bank. One of my favorites is codeacademy.com. This is not sponsored or anything, but there's tons of tutorials out there that can help you understand how a programming language retrieves and pulls data and sorts data and uses data. And so by having that basic understanding and fundamental knowledge of a tool and programming language like SQL, you can apply that to various different data sets and really understand how a platform manages, stores, groups, retrieves, or reorganizes data, which will be really crucial to any of your needs. I mean, even if you go offline and you do something with robotics, it's still based in some fundamental data retrieval knowledge that you can get from a programming language like SQL. But then on top of that, you also want to get really savvy with a web analytics tool. I think if you want extra credit, you want to go beyond just one tool to others because different tools are different. So I like Google Analytics 4 as a starter tool because almost every website uses it. It's very beginner friendly. But then you want to kind of go beyond that and learn a second tool, whether that's Mixpanel, Amplitude, Heap. There's plenty of options that are also pretty common because the more sophisticated companies and businesses, they're probably not using Google Analytics 4 anymore, or they're not just using Google. And that's because, they have a mobile app, they have a lot of traffic, or they have certain metrics that Google can't satisfy. So Google is a great starting ground for just someone who's completely new at this. Get very familiar with using Google Analytics. And once again, if you can get real world experience, you will plug a lot of knowledge gaps that you would have just trying to figure out the tool on your own in a vacuum. So do whatever you can to get that experience. Freelance clients, work for free for small businesses in your local area. Just help them find out what they need to know about their website and you will really get a good grasp about what metrics are very commonly used. Look out for that. Okay, so I did hint at and mention 2 bonus things that you can really do to really hit the ground running in 3 months and get really good at web analytics. Before I get to that, I would ask you to like and subscribe. If you want more content like this, please do so. And that way you can keep seeing these videos for free that really will help you get a job as a digital marketing analyst without a degree. Or you could join my email newsletter where I give more detailed tips that are exclusive and bonus for free. That's down below. What are these bonus tips? The first bonus tip, or you could say tip number 4, is when you are doing this web analytics stuff, really make sure to apply all this back together in a way that is digestible, presentable, clearly communicated to clients and stakeholders. Because a lot of people overemphasize just the technical ability, but when I look at the people who actually excel the highest at this job, they have a good emotional intelligence, they have great communication skills, and they know how to frame and present things so that they make sense to stakeholders, so they aren't filled with technical jargon, and the stakeholders like them, and they have a certain level of rapport, and they like them a lot and want to continue doing business with them. So doing all those things requires a certain level of empathy and understanding about your own knowledge and technical ability. There's so many technical terms in this job that it's so easy to get in the weeds and not realize it, and then say stuff or do stuff that just overwhelms a leader or manager that you're presenting to. For example, I've made the mistake of jumping right into a big spreadsheet when it was my turn to present during a meeting. And of course, I got feedback later that this was not the right approach. It went way over the leadership's head. And I was very thankful for that because I could pivot and learn from that and not do that in a future engagement. But there's other stuff like just using a bunch of terms like CTR and cost per conversion and lead growth and traffic. And think about it, leadership is not in the weeds as much as you are. So saying all this stuff really may not mean much for them. Instead, I really like to emphasize storytelling ability and growing your ability to tell a good story, and then your ability to show that off. So what I would typically do is, when I would start with the goals that the client has. You really wanted to grow your traffic and then get more sales, but also you wanted a better user experience so users weren't frustrated. And then I go into some type of obstacle or dilemma, but then you weren't really sure how to measure that. You weren't very comfortable with web analytics, and that's where I came in and I helped you through it. And then I end with the benefit, the solution, us conquering the dragon, if you will. And I try and make them the hero, not me. And so what they end up doing is they end up succeeding by choosing to use me and then using those metrics to measure user experience. And these are a few metrics that we're able to do that, as well as measure traffic. We're able to find out what things we could tweak to improve user experience and sales, and boom, you saw your numbers go up. Notice how I didn't lead and start with just some a list of random acronyms. So there's so many ways that you can get super in the weeds with this, because especially as someone who's very technical and is setting up a lot of that stuff and using terms like data layer push and data layer variable and triggers and tags, it can go way over someone's head. So it's really a skill set to be able to kind of speak in the language of your audience. And a lot of people aren't self-aware enough to realize they should do that. And so that's a huge soft skill that I think is underemphasized when it comes to really mastering web analytics, because at the end of the day, this is a business of communicating with other people. And then the last 5th tip for really getting a handle on web analytics and really succeeding on it is having that wherewithal and drive to really not just fulfill orders, but be proactive and do more and be strategic with the people you help, and really go out of your way to be proactive and figure out what they really want and then help them solve it. The basic person, let's call him Bob. Bob might just do something like fulfill the order. The order may just be like, hey, can you tell me if traffic went up from this month to the next? Bob may not think further. He just fulfills his order. He moves on. He thinks that's good enough. he gets paid. Let's call the other person Peter. Peter is the guy who goes above and beyond and does those proactive things mentioned. He asked the client, the manager, why are you curious about these things? And then he discovers that what they really want is, they really want to improve user satisfaction and also increase their sales. It's not always sales as a goal, but I'm just going to use it for this as an example. And because of that, not only does he fulfill his order, but he also makes recommendations on metrics that may be better for measuring this and certain things he found on his own that could help them achieve that goal and things that may be a better return on investment for the time they're spending. So by him going above and beyond, not only is he providing more insights, but he's also becoming that strategic consultant and directing the conversation in a way where you're not just, delivering things and being kind of blind and deaf to the point of it, but you're actually aligned on that goal, and then you can find better ways of them getting there. And so that's something that I think a lot of people really value, and it really sets you above and beyond, gives you job security, all these other things. So I really think that you should consider doing all those different things and bringing it together. Don't just be an order taker, work on those basic skill sets, technical and soft skills, and you will be so much farther ahead than other people on your route to being a master of web data analytics. Like and subscribe. Join my free email newsletter for more tips if you want a job like this. It also comes with a free cheat sheet to tell you 5 signs if this is a job for you.